Good one.
That's so cool.
Head back to bed, okay? Love you, man.
That was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
That's awesome.
And then that's just the start.
Just the start. That's right, man.
I know about that.
Yeah.
To show the skull.
All right, but I'll see you in a bit. Love you. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's my 6-year-old. He'll be 6 in like a week, so I'm pretty proud of him. Yeah, it is very fun age. The next step, besides just talking more about it, kind of covering a little bit more ground on it, I guess would be to double back and try and poke as many holes into it as we can. See what it would look like from an alternative viewpoint, maybe even a disbelieving viewpoint. I'm inclined to believe this because it's kind of my default position of remaining open to information. So I want to see what it would look like as maybe a fundamentalist Christian Republican.
Right.
Maybe as a...
to have an ex-husband who is that. And I read him the document that we had, and he's like into Newtonian philosophy and stuff too. So like, he was able to understand, what we're talking about. And he, like, even from his Latter-day Saint perspective, was like, I might join sometime.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm tempted to do. Okay, so I started with the talk of politics, and then the next time everyone wanted to have another one, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna start where it started for me. So that's when I started with the agnosticism, but that's also where I felt the pushback, and where I felt the pushback is likely going to be from the individuals that you're talking about, which is so wild because they're the ones who have all their motivation is so pure. I want to admit that with the religious community. Yeah. Their motivation is very pure, that they want these same things. But it's so funny that they are the ones, due to their dogmatism, that will not let it happen.
They perpetuate the separation because they don't view their ideology as a type of divisive ideology.
Right.
I don't know that it's correct to say they.
Yeah. I've used that analogy before as well. But it feels a little too derisive or downgrading. And I don't mean to come off like that because there's a lot that I have in common with biblical ideals or principles. But
truth is truth.
Yeah.
And truth is a string. It's like a string there. It wraps the whole world around.
Yeah. I like that. That more or less works for me. So there was an idea that you had put out about kind of blending all the best parts of capitalism, socialism, communism.
Yeah, I said we need to lose our dogmatism and find a hybrid.
That's one of the hardest parts for people to realize, is that politics too is a belief system.
Right, they're like socialism or communism or the way that people, or democracy, the way that people devote themselves to these things is they devote themselves as hard, if not harder, than they do Christianity and Islam.
Yeah, I think a little bit harder sometimes.
Harder because of the lack of realization that they're doing so, perhaps. Harder because of ignorance.
Exactly. And blind adherence to anything is kind of the enemy. It's not necessarily the people, it's the way they relate to the information that they identify with.
It's not the propositions of faith, but faith itself.
Exactly. Have you heard of a YouTube called carnades.org?
No.
This guy is like the perfect example of what is called an indirect skeptic. It's a way of having an ideology that doesn't assent to belief. It values belief as just one of several different behaviors to have towards propositions. You can hope something is true.
And how would it define that?
Indirect skepticism, you'd have to read it because it's a little cloudy to me. I don't fully identify with it because I think I naturally believe things without realizing it. They call it what they're inclined to hope on or feel nice about, a proclivity.
Yeah.
But they change. It's kind of a semantic difference.
Belief basically is the word that doesn't work with Wikipedia. I know that sounds crazy, but belief is the word that doesn't work with Wikipedia. You walk up to a kid who is raised on Wikipedia on neutral data, not dogmatic data, and you tell him, You give him the page on Jesus Christ, and he'll give him the best arguments for, the best arguments against, the best evidence for, the best evidence against. Then you walk up to that child, you say, "Kid, do you believe in Jesus Christ or not?" He's going to look at you and put his finger on his mouth and go, "What are you asking me?" And he's going to say, I know that it's possible. I know that it's not possible. And then somebody's singing.
Yeah. To Mr. Michael, it's if you're referring to the whole indirect skepticism, that would maybe be one way to put it. Belief without commitment.
But no, it's not really, because I mean, I still behave in such a way that I might get paid off.
Yeah. Like you said, your bets, the way you place your bets.
Yes, every action that I take or don't take is a bet, insofar as it's possible that I could be paid off for this or not by a deity if he's there, no matter his name.
Yeah. I really like the idea behind looking at potentiality and just realizing that there's no need to actually settle on any one of the variables that are up there. You can kind of measure, you can get a taxonomy going of each one and kind of, this one has a 50% chance of succeeding. This one is 25. I'm not going to put much confidence in that one, but it's kind of a way of just looking at the grid of all the options that are out there.
And I'm not fundamentally agnostic insofar as I think that for all time, we may build a machine one day that can verify God.
I agree. There's a temporal resting place at this moment with agnosticism for I think both of us.
Yeah. So what I just posted a link to it. It's jonathanwilsonatlarge.com/method. But essentially, think about the religious movements and what they did when they found that the structures of the world were things that they did not want to be involved in, perhaps. It's monasticism.
Okay.
Monasticism is the result. And so what I've done is form a sort of irreligious agnostic monasticism in that method.
Refresh me of monasticism. I know it has something to do with one something.
Oh, no. Being a monk. A monk. A monastery.
Monastery. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay.
I heard.
I got mono.
I heard. Yeah. I know what you're doing. Monasticism. So a way of living what they used to call a religious life devoted to a deity, but but they would do it because they didn't want to be involved in the systems of the world that weren't his. And so what I've attempted to do is develop a method of independence for every man, woman, and child within these systems. And it isn't, we can go from here to getting people off the grid.
I think that's the next step.
To sustainable communities.
A gradient approach to off-grid living.
Yes. Okay.
Within a network of tribes. Okay, I have a few things to throw out at you, okay?
Okay.
On that note right there, because that's a great actual first starting point. Dunbar's number, cybernated farm systems, and open source ecology. Are you familiar with these three?
I could guess what the last one is, but those are three things that I have basically never heard of, and that is why this is so fucking cool. Because now we're going somewhere.
We're gonna fill in each other's gaps in a non-sexual way.
Fine with that.
All right.
Fine with that.
So, Dunbar's number is essentially a number that was gathered by Robin Dunbar. He's I don't even know what his
number of people who can maintain a social relationship.
Exactly. It's anywhere from 300 to 500 roughly. So you go over that limit, it kind of gets messy. And what happens with just any mindset is that you start to generalize groups into singular identities. Right. Those Muslim people over there, that's just one consideration for you. You can wipe it. I see.
So you're saying this is what happens when we create phenomenological groups in our minds that are larger than those
that we can contain. Yeah. Essentially, that's it. And dude, I love how quick you are. This is going to be possibly one of the quickest conversations.
Well, and then you're going to tell me that we go from Dunbar's number to establishing tribes according to Dunbar's number who do cybernated farm systems based on your ecological.
Yeah, some
Keep going.
open source. Yeah. So
going.
Cybernated Farm Systems is kind of something that popped out of, are you familiar with the Zeitgeist movement?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the guys from their name is Douglas Mellett. He's crowdsourcing this whole, a shipping container full of 3D printed hydroponic farm systems that would be self-sustained, solar powered, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Off-grid living in a box.
Okay.
Almost like freedom in a box, that you literally just let it grow, collect the food, so on and so forth. It could be in the middle of the
When you
desert.
realize that you can grow your own food, the game is over.
The game's over. And the
They can't
cryptocurrency
fuck
thing,
with you anymore.
exactly, especially with cryptocurrency, because when we use fiat currency, you're still feeding energy into the system somehow.
You have to pay taxes, basically.
Exactly.
I mean, just
Exactly, man. What are your feelings on taxes, by the way? Is it more or less like a
This is where I lead with the democracy.
Okay.
It's literally open to, it's whatever.
Voluntary, more or less?
Well, no, I would say it's whatever we vote on. The majority
Okay.
will rule in regard to whatever taxation system we want to put in place.
Okay.
Now, if you're asking what my vote would be, I would say I need to do more research.
Cool.
That would be my response, because I need to do more research regarding, and we need to have more. We need to have those conversations. Those are the
Absolutely.
conversations we need to have, for sure.
Yeah.
One thing Human Nation needs to be is a forum,
Yeah, more or less.
dedicated to these ideas, you know.
Yeah.
But two, I don't like written word.
It's
Now that I've
too-
experienced this,
I couldn't agree more, man.
written
Because
word
it's
is not
too
going to work.
litigious. Like,
Yes,
you
I
get-
can't. I can correct you mid-sentence. You can correct me mid-sentence. You can say no definition there, no definition there. Do you
Yeah.
realize how little progress we would have fucking made if we used email throughout the process of evolution? It would
And-
never have happened.
Never.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen here.
I agree, man. And integrating as many of these different modalities of perception as, like, yeah, that's much better, Kristen. I don't think she knows
audio
that.
there.
Yeah, she doesn't know she's on yet. Okay. What kind of skepticism was that again?
Yeah, I know. I can know when I'm coming in. It just takes me a second because I have to hit the volume thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Real quick.
Does no one else experience that? Like, am I just like,
It's not me. Yeah, it's and you're sitting there. We can see you, just kind of waiting. Yeah. Indirect. Yeah. Thank you, John.
I'm always like thinking like maybe I should put up my finger. Like,
And then I don't know
was kidding.
exactly. I don't know exactly how to spell it, but if you'll type out, well, I might be able to. Actually, I forgot that I can type out. Sorry, guys.
It's cool.
I'll type out the website.
While you're doing that, in relation to what we should do next, I don't know what the next step is. The word that keeps rattling around in my head is representation. And if there could be some magical way that we could somehow have like an opt-in, I don't even know how it could happen, but this is my vision. I'm envisioning a way that, like we talked about it before in the other box, where we're voting in the cloud to form a voice, and then we opt into that. We opt in to allow our voice to be part of the unified voice, and give that to represent so many electoral votes, sort of thing.
Yeah, the idea the one I loved was when he Eddie, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm kind of. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but there's no image.
Okay, I'm looking online to see if I can get this link.
That's what's happening. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure you could still hear.
Yeah.
A really good one really good idea that came out of Eric specifically last discussion was he said that even if we didn't submit wholly to the laws. Sorry guys, too much audio. So keep getting interrupted.
Yeah, no worries, man.
It's cool. So we're developing. We'd be developing an app, and the something in the cloud essentially. I guess we can just call that an app. But we'd be developing an app that allows everyone to vote in a non-representative way. And what that means is we would be voting directly on the laws themselves, And if we just established this union without asking or even trying to fuck with the actual government that's in place right now, we just do it. What we think we can do is just establish it, and then the other one crumbles like the monarchy.
So there's a great quote by Buckminster Fuller that says, damn it, I'm ruining it, but I'm going to botch this a bit, but it's you don't destroy the old, you build the new. You make the old model irrelevant by building something new.
Do you remember the term that we used for this? It was overgrowth.
Overgrowth. That's it. Thank you.
Overgrowth. We said that I woke up with that out of a dream. I literally woke up with that out of a dream. Yeah. So there were, I saw vines growing up over Bank of America, which is right outside of my window right here. The Bank
Very Fight Club.
Very Fight Club.
I love it.
The vines grow up over, and then under the weight of the new world, they collapse. But we haven't done anything. It's necessarily nonviolent. Mm-hmm. It's necessary. We just build a new world and keep going. They become irrelevant. We ignore them.
I think that's the most powerful one right there. Ignore.
If they're inefficient, ignore them. That would be it.
And that would be kind of the slogan, more or less. Like,
if they're inefficient, ignore them.
Oh, dude, you used it. The tyranny of inefficiency and the something about the momentum of
tyranny of it was a tyranny of momentum and inefficiency. That's what I said. That we suffer under a tyranny of momentum. So it is not an actual individual who's instituting these things over us. So we can't pick a man and call him evil and go bomb him. It's not. There's no Hitler. There's no Hitler.
There's no Hitler.
So what do we? Who do you fight? Who's the enemy?
It's a machine.
It's momentum. And the great thing about a machine is that you can't hurt them.
No, it's an inanimate object.
Yes, it's an inanimate object, so I can rip the shit apart.
Right.
Yeah, we gotta do better. Fuck.
We are at least starting the conversation to find out what that better might be. So
it's yeah. But so I think what happens then next is people are within the societies now that use the dollar. So what I do is I bartend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I bartend 3 blocks away. I walk. I live in a minimal loft right here, very, very minimally.
What city?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, cool. I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Heard. Total opposite. I've never been there. I would love to come.
I think I've been there once to where you're at, but I was too drunk to remember.
Cool. Charlotte, what was I saying?
About your bartending experience and
yes. Okay, so I utilize this. I can earn $52,000 a year, basically.
Nice. Damn.
But most people, in a major city, with a good gig, and if you know what you're doing, you can earn that equivalent, at least that equivalent, when you consider your tax benefits from cash tips and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that puts you in the top 1% of the entire fucking world.
Right. I know. Wasn't it over 50,000 is the top 1%?
Yeah. So I'm in the top
income bracket.
I have 2 degrees, graduate work, and I had to hide everything on my resume in order to get the job that I got bussing tables, in order to get the job waiting tables. Yes, because I don't want to bow down to that shit.
Oh, I know, man. I'm proud of you.
I had to figure out what to do. So this is the method. The method is what to do when you don't know what to do, how to work inside of a world like this, and perhaps establish a new one. But that is what it's becoming, because now what happens is I live off 50% of what I make, and I stack the other, and I've been investing it heavily in Apple. Okay. And it's gone way, way up. So
it's kind of a steady climb, huh?
Now I'm taking those profits and I'm putting them into Bitcoin. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
What if everyone did this?
If it was just a natural, no one asked any permission?
We start we collect the dollars from the system in the most non-existentially invasive way possible. You'll see that. You'll see that term on there. It's NEI, non-existentially invasive. So NEI income is non-existentially invasive income. This is what each man needs to establish, and that which is non-existentially invasive to one man might be existentially invasive to another. And then there might be some things that are necessarily non-existential or necessarily existentially invasive to every man.
Which is what we should try and find out. Yeah.
And perhaps we can verify morality with science soon. That'll be interesting.
So there's a man named Stefan Molyneux. I'm pretty like I've absorbed a lot of data over the last decade in terms of what might be able to be established in terms of a universal morality, especially one that isn't theistically based.
Well, my suggestion would be that it's hidden in the code if it's there.
Nice. Yeah, there should be parameters.
The digital physics, it might be hidden in there once we learn to break the world apart in a certain way.
Yeah, in an almost controlled kind of
I want to be able to I want to be able to verify them. In the same way I said earlier, I want to be able to verify God, and I'm agnostic at the moment because we can't.
Right.
Not because
it's out of our reach. Yeah.
We need to develop the tool to verify God. And many people have suggested that in AI, we're building him a body.
More or less.
Artificial intelligence, we're building our makers a body. So all this shit's getting weird. But
it's what really the quantum weirdness at the base of reality anyway is weird, and it's leaking into just regular reality now.
We live at a cool fucking time.
It's the phase transition, kind of between the caterpillar and the butterfly. And
I think our job. Oh, this is big. I think our job here is to enjoy the process of transition, because I don't know if we're going to actually be able to solidify ourselves as anything specific the way that the world has and people in the world have in the past, like our parents.
Yeah. But there's no stability anymore. The constant is change. Like that is the only thing you can rest on.
Entrepreneurship, activism, freelancing, affiliate work, and art. Yeah. This is all that will live once we're taken care of, and all those things are necessarily not consistent.
Right. They have like their own cadence to it.
Right. So the way that I have to do, the reason I built the method at first was because I needed to figure out a way to do those things in a consistent manner. So I just got a basic income through something that didn't bother me.
Nice.
So other people, so now I consider myself an artist, an activist, an entrepreneur, and freelancer, and an affiliate of things. But I happen to bartend to get the cash, to pay
immediately.
My bills.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on, my son, real quick.
That's cool.
What's up, bud?
I have another idea.
Oh, you want to show him one more? But this is the last one, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see it. Oh, that is very cool.
Oh, here you go. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
That is so cool. I really like it. Is it a what's at the top? Like the little thing that looks like kind of like a spaceship.
Oh, that's the eye and the nose. The eye.
Oh, I see. I like his nose.
I got a picture of the skull right there.
Yeah.
And an unstandable guy right there.
Those are very cool. I think it's so cool that you're making stuff. Will you keep making like more and more things?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Don't stop.
I won't.
Good job. All right, bud. Thank you for showing.
Yeah.
I'll see you around.
All right. This is all one page.
It is, yeah. You got both sides down there, huh?
First one.
The brain.
The brain.
There is a brain. Brain stem. Good job, man. The eye. The eye. Nice.
You have to say.
I see it, man.
I have those marks, which mean you have to read like.
Quotes. Yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah, good job, bud.
Quotation marks.
Yeah, quotation marks.
Yeah.
All right, bud. I'm gonna finish this chat, okay? I'll see you later.
You're welcome for the cool writing.
Yeah, dude. I'm proud of your spelling.
Thanks.
That nose with a Z.
Right. I love dude. His spelling is so weird because you can actually get it almost. It does.
So this guy said, well, there's always the discovery of other life forms similar to us somewhere else. And so we need to talk about this. There's the when and a lot of people think like this has to go away in order for the agnostic thing to work. But a lot of people think that God is within the case on another planet, or they think of him as a physical thing within the same physical space as us.
Like the Mormon idea on Planet Kobol or something?
And Planet Kobol is a planet within this universe.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fine with thinking that there could be a higher a transcendent realm, a four-dimensional reality, a something where these things do exist in a physical realm. But what we have to talk about is that these are not aliens. These are not within this world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sorry. Yeah, grab these right here, bud.
So the aliens aren't the gods that we're talking about.
Right.
You know?
Like the Anunnaki kind of idea.
Right. Now, God could load himself into the case, hypothetically, in the form of a body or a rock or a burning bush, whatever the fuck he wants.
Right.
If that's what's going on.
And if there's something like omnipotent, at its disposal.
Right.
I can entertain these ideas all day, by the way.
And he would program himself in. You have to ask the question: how would he program himself in? As a human, as a physical body, and even if he did so, is there any way that we could verify that it was him? And the answer is no.
Even still, huh?
Even then, the only thing that can happen is a burning bush be presented to you, or a man who says he is God.
And then you give him the third degree, and what would that prove? Is verbal facility proof of anything?
No. No, anybody can say shit. Yeah. And I mean, now maybe he can manipulate the case or something like that, turning water into wine or something like this. And this could be evidence. But then again, the fundamental agnosticism is always going to be there. I think I said this last time, but it always leads to this. I say, even when I walk up to the throne of God in heaven, if I have ever asked the Cartesian question, am I dreaming? I'm going to ask it then.
Sorry, man.
You're good, man.
He wants to tell you something.
That's cool. I got another plan.
You've got to blab millions more times.
Okay, I will blab a million more times then.
Soon. Very soon.
I will blab a million more times very soon then.
And each time when I'm gonna keep showing you my cool ideas.
I'm fine with that. I cannot wait to see them.
Those are the only 2 ideas for today.
Okay. You got 2 more coming tomorrow, or?
Yeah.
Okay. About 2 a day is what you're working on?
Yeah.
Okay.
About the body's parts. I've read 2 books about the body and what makes it work.
That's very interesting.
I read about the brain and the bones. That's why I had the brain and the skull. Today we are talking about the brain.
That's so cool. Which the brain is very interesting. The brain, we think the brain is like what's like making you, alive and here.
And it's what's making me have all these cool ideas.
That's totally true. It's all happening in your brain. And you're the most sentient being on Earth. You know what that means? It means nothing, no other animals, nothing else we've ever found in the whole universe is smarter than you.
Mm-hmm. Dolphins
that kind of makes
second.
you seem. Yep, dolphins are second. That kind of makes you seem like the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or us, at least. We're all about the same smart.
Yeah, more or less.
But a bit more. Dolphins can't walk.
They can't walk.
Smart?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What about thinking?
We can't swim very well, though.
True.
Well, I can swim.
Not as good as a dolphin.
There's things we're better at than dolphins, and dolphins better at us.
That's very true.
I can dunk swim.
That's cool.
For about 15 seconds.
I didn't learn to swim until I was like 10 years old. I was much older than you.
I learned when I was like, I think 5 3/4, and I'm more than 5 3/4. Just a couple days, only like 1 week until my birthday.
That's very cool. You're going to turn 6?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't remember turning 6.
Either.
Try
and remember it, okay?
I know.
And tell us when you get older if you still remember this moment.
I know.
Okay.
I won't ever forget.
Nice.
That's huge.
I can't. This is just too awesome.
It is pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm. I want to learn more about your ideas too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my ideas are that I think we need to make everyone on Earth happy.
Yeah.
And everyone isn't right now.
Yeah, but what I wanted to tell you, all of your ideas, draw them and show me and and tell me what they say.
Okay. I'll show you some of my ideas and drawings next time, okay?
Thanks.
All right.
All right, bud.
Each day, I'm going to be periscoping you. I mean, blabbing you.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Good thing.
All right, bud. You have a good
night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Love you, man.
Love you.
So dope.
Dude, thanks, man.
So dope.
So,
I want to make babies so bad. That's a huge thing for me too, because I'm like, in this world,
mm-hmm.
you know, I have to think about everything that's changing, right? Consider this, that people are telling us, our generation is going to be the first generation that lives to be 150 years old, like it is normal. That's going to be, we don't even know the systems that are in place right now with a 40-year career from 25 to 65. They aren't even built to be able to make sense of that sort of lifespan.
Right. It's out of their context. Thank you, Kristen and Charlene. Or Shalane, I'm sorry, for all the love towards my son.
That was great. That was awesome. That was awesome. It's awesome when you tell him like a little bit of your idea and he's like, keep going.
Yeah. He's a pretty good listener. He's absolutely perfect at night. And it takes all day for him to get to that like sapient state of mind.
Got you.
I've had that. You gotta get to bed, bud. What time is it, man? Is it
midnight?
It's for you midnight.
Here. Yeah.
It's pretty late, bud. Remember our deal? We'll do it again soon, okay? We'll plan it, and it'll be like a special question and answer one with you, okay?
All right, but we're doing it every day. Got it?
We'll do our best, okay?
Every day.
All right.
He's a blab addict.
Isn't it pretty much that kind of thing, though? Come on, bud. Close the door. Each night. We got it. We understand. All right.
Because those are the times I have the best ideas.
It is the best time.
Which you just said. You just said that about him.
Yeah. These are the times that we are able to like connect, and it's hard to cut the cord because I would love to let that keep going, but like he needs his rest too. He's got to grow. This is like cognitive development.
I mean, we want him to help change the world, but I mean, he's got to sleep and he's got
he's got to take the torch when we're ready to pass it.
Right.
This is one of the other things I actually wanted to mention, that the generations that aren't able to kind of get on with this type of it's a type of progressive idea. What's the next step for human development? They're going to be making themselves irrelevant. Sooner or later, it's going to become apparent that this train of thought isn't really
this is the next thing. We're choosing this as the next thing.
Yeah, it's not a fantasy that we're just like pie in the sky, Lucy in the sky with diamonds kind of idea. It's not that kind of same hippy dippy bullshit. It's got some foundational understandings. There's a lot of empiricism behind it. There's plenty of. It's all there. Now it's just a matter of connecting the dots. The internet has showed this to us.
Right. And so I guess this is that process beginning.
Yeah, I think that's what I would describe this as, like a dot connecting episode.
Literally, when those words come out of my mouth, the thing that happens in my head is I go, is this all? I almost become a solipsist and think you're not real, and that this is all a game about my becoming.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but or like trying to change the world or something, that each one is playing their own game and trying to evolve or something.
Have you heard?
I know that's not true. I'm not a solipsist. I don't know that's not true, but I'm not a solipsist. So,
but it's the first principle. Like you can't doubt that you doubt, therefore you know you exist. The whole what is it? The
Descartes.
Cogito. Yeah, Descartes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cogito ergo sum.
There it is. So yeah, like the Matrix. So there's this idea. Have you heard? It's a story called The Egg by Andy Weir. Weir is his last name. It's essentially kind of a solipsistic ontology, but the moral or the takeaway from it is more or less what you just described. It's a story of your becoming, and that's what ontology is. Like the origin of being. This is how we discover our own methods of telling a story, a narrative to ourselves, mirror it back, find the holes in the way that I'm talking about it, help each other to like become, to simply become and to be.
Yeah. Two, I think what's happening with the process of language is that we're trying to delineate the language that this was written in.
The ones and zeros?
Yes, we're trying to delineate. And once we delineate the language that this world was written in, we will be able to manipulate it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this world was written in binary. I think the worlds that we build are binary because they're two-dimensional. This world was 3. This world was a 0, 1, and an X.
So what of
in order for it to operate on a 3-dimensional plane,
right?
You see,
and you've heard the Flatlands whole like, if you had a 2-dimensional being that only experienced forward, back, left, and right, a 3-dimensional object coming through their plane of existence would not even really be perceptible to their abilities. So
I
would have to write the code they see in this message. People, I know this is kind of like The Matrix is really one of the most influential movies I think that I've ever seen. Back in the day, I didn't fully comprehend it.
It sucks that it's a movie though, because people then think like, oh, it's not possible because it was in a movie.
Right.
It's like, no, that's probably what is happening.
Right. It's a metaphor for helping you to understand the picture that was happening in this guy's mind or these siblings' mind. So yeah, it's more or less like there's even a Matrix defense that passed the court of law. Like a woman committed a crime that was, sorry, Bud, you got to get out of here. This is the adult speak part. All right. I love you, man. But she got off based on this defense that like she believed herself to be a part of the Matrix and that her actions had no consequences. And it was like an insanity plea kind of deal, but she got off based on that just basic line of reasoning.
That's wild.
It's really wild, and it's kind of a scary precedent that like you could that you can just shoo aside responsibility like that. And I think one of the things that I really appreciate what we're trying to get here is a type of self-responsibility, a type of self-control that each person is willing to ascend to, and then more or less allow others to do the same. I don't think this is for everyone right away, especially not now. In the next decade, we're going to see how it starts to blossom.
That makes this a long project.
Yeah. I mean, it will get a point where it's exponential. It's going to snowball at a certain point. When it does, then it'll be quick. But I mean, like if you know how to, like if you've ever painted a house, I used to do this for a little bit back in the day. It's all prep work. 90% of it's prep. And then you go and take a spray to it and it's, done in an hour after that.
Right. So it's like putting the tape on the shit to make sure that you don't get the edges, and it's like doing all so that you can just lather the paint on.
And that's what I think we're going to be able to do, especially as everything is starting to be represented digitally. One of the biggest ideas I think that you guys were talking about is how to get water, food, and shelter for every man, woman, and child. Now, I've long considered the idea behind a virtual reality simulation, maybe even a game, where one of the parameters in the game is absolute clean water, like water that is filtered in all public areas, that it's everywhere in the entire globe. You can walk up to a stream and drink of it. Someone can take a dump in front of the filter. It will filter a second later into drinkable water. Like that's the type of technological purity we would have to develop, at least in a simulation.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we couldn't develop. We could give literally every single human a straw that they could drink out of the dirtiest water in the world, and it'd been fine.
And there it is.
And that exists now. And that's clean water for the whole world if I can only buy 7 billion.
Right. And I think there's ways of kind of enticing kind of a crowd sourced idea behind that. Like, all right, let's take a demographic of people that are just there. They don't have clean water. So let's see who wants to help with this idea. And that takes the place of legislation. It's just a crowdsourced idea. Those that want to participate do. Those that don't aren't forced to. And I think that's one of the key elements that differentiates.
That's the internet.
That's
I mean, what
internet.
we just described as the internet.
It's just another way to talk about it.
It just is happening. And but two, I feel the need for somebody to start pushing it in a political direction.
Yeah. And give it some
not
legs.
many people are doing it.
Yeah.
Not many people are doing it. And leading with, there are other options like BitNation.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this.
Leading with Bitcoin and leading with cryptography is just too confusing.
Oh, no, buddy, I need you to go to bed, bud.
Just tell me which way.
Oh, you just fold it in half like that. Yeah. But you got to go to your room. Clove, come on, man. You're killing me. Clover, come on, man. You guys going to have to hear daddy voice here.
You're good, Dad. Keep going.
Come on, dude. Let's go. Come on, man. Clover. Dude. All right, I'm going to have to call your mom.
Scissors.
Don't you have them in here? All right. Oh, sorry.
Don't do that ever again.
I'm sorry. All right, man. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, dude, absolutely. That's like real life. That's a,
I know.
a good. If we ever wanted to turn this into anything, that's what we're dealing with. You know, it's like
daddy voice over blab.
Well, I mean, and I guess when you use things like Blab instead of corporations to do things like this is definitely the things that you would have to deal with.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most insightful things about. You saw you Periscope, I'm sure, like this, and then this happened, and it was like, oh, well, this is obviously the next step.
I tried to build this 6 months ago with a team in Raleigh.
Oh, really?
I said, yes, we were so close. I said Periscope needs to be conversational.
Yeah,
I saw people on Periscope pulling up a Skyping each other and then Periscoping it. And I was like, this is my idea. We need to have live conversations. We need to be able to tweet live conversations. The reason I didn't do it was because I didn't think to build it on top of Twitter's network because I didn't think it was differentiated enough from Periscope.
Right.
But it is differentiated enough from Periscope. I just didn't realize it. So
isn't that weird though? I think that's kind of like this cloud idea of like, where do ideas even come from? They're almost like they fall into the minds of those that are capable of harnessing them. And then they do. And there it is. So it's one of those things that like, I feel like all around the world, as inventions even begin to be manifest in different areas on the planet, they're all different motives though, that have something to do with becoming, with freedom, with trying to find
out. And I think this entire case is building something. The whole process of evolution that we see, I don't know what this is, but this could be this is what it is. It's a loading program for what we've called heaven before. So they're amalgamating the sort of entities that can be embodied in the fourth dimension, but you have to build them on the lower dimension. So if we could build Mario, if we could construct Mario's consciousness in his two-dimensional world as he interacts with the objects, then when he dies, we could extract him and plug him into perhaps one of our bodies. And the same for here in heaven.
Damn.
You see?
That's beautiful.
So evolution. So the evolutionary process is my question is this: what are we building? And the answer seems to be AI, which is God a body.
Right. Come on, Clove. You're Dante. Dante. There are no scissors in here. Okay.
Just keep the door open, please. So I have some light.
Use the hall light. Oh, goodness.
So my girlfriend just got home.
Okay.
I'm going to go hang out with her.
Sounds good, man.
But I'm going to do this a couple more times this week, probably the same time. We keep doing it at 11. Hey, guys, go check out humannation.net. You can enter your information on there. I'll get it. It's already international. We have a lot of people signing up. We have people from Macedonia and the Maldives, and all these people are already signing up saying they are interested in seceding and forming a global democratic union in the cloud that is non-geographic, non-representative, so that we can get every single man, woman, and child on earth food, water, shelter, free healthcare, and free education. Because we can, because we have the ability to communicate, because we have the technology to do it for the first time ever in history. So let's make it happen. Go sign up there. And we'll keep trying to figure out what the next fucking step is on this big ass crazy plan.
I love it,
and
man.
Eddie, I've loved meeting you. We're going to be great friends. I
can see it, man.
We can deduce. I can deduce you in a second. You can start. Yep. You could probably say 3 words, and I could finish your sentence already, and vice versa.
Let's practice that too. I think that's going to be an awesome game.
Cool.
Take care, brother.
All right. Bye, guys.